Hi YouTube. Well, this is the third video in the series for the Battle of Gettysburg. Again, this is not meant to be a comprehensive, detailed review of the battle. There's thousands of books and videos and movies about this. I suggest you read some of the books first and then maybe watch some of the documentaries. But mine is just an overview of what happened and get a lay of the land. I know for me, seeing it, and it's pretty close. They try to keep it close to what it was like then, so you really get a feel for what the soldiers were dealing with. Now, early on the third day, this is Spangler Spring. And this area was a picnic area before the war, but on July 2nd, the Union forces here cut down a lot of the trees, made breastworks, rolled some of the rocks, dug it up, about a half-mile long thing of breastworks to defend. And the troops that were here were called to reinforce Little Round Top. So they left the breastworks they just built to go up there, and that's what saved Little Round Top. Well, they came back here about 6 o'clock, 6:30 at night. When that battle was over, they came back to find that their position here had been taken over by the Confederates. And so they were off this way, and the breastworks were up here in these woods, and they that next morning, the 2nd Massachusetts and I think it was the 67th Indiana were given the orders to take back their breastworks. This is 7 a.m. that attack started, so first thing in the morning they came across murderous fire on this open ground. And 600 out of the 655 federal troops coming across here, almost 250 of them were killed. 45 of those were from the Massachusetts 2nd. 90 of their people were wounded. And 23 years after the battle, the survivors of the 2nd Massachusetts came and put up the first monument here on the battlefield. So that was the beginning of day 3 here at Spangler Spring. I'm standing on top Culp's Hill. On July 2nd, which was the second day of the battle, Brigadier General George S. Greene, who had taught civil engineering at West Point. He was the oldest general here. He was 62, but he was very able and brave. And he built, or had his men build, these breastworks out of logs and rocks and earth, some of which were 5 feet tall. So up here, so well built that the Confederates could not take them. You had 1,400 New Yorkers up here. Some of the brigades that were here actually ordered south to reinforce other areas, and he only ended up with the 1,400 that were left here. And they repulsed attack after attack right up until after midnight. So fighting went on and on. This is pretty much up above Spangler Springs, just down the hill here. In the morning of the 3rd, the Confederates tried again, and the officers had to rouse the men. They were exhausted, the Union forces, to get ammunition and get clean their muskets and get ready and they were able to repulse them, the Confederates, again. This was as far up the hill as they got. They never were able to actually take the hill. That was pretty much the end of this area, the battle of this area. On the third day, around 1 o'clock, the artillery on Seminary Ridge opened up on the Union forces, and the Union guns firing back for about 2 hours. 270 cannon thundered, created a scene. One correspondent called a very hell of fire that amazed the oldest officers. About 3 p.m., so after 2 hours of that, the cannonade ceased. Confederate infantry, commanded by Brigadier General James Pettigrew and Major General Isaac Trimble, formed rank in the fields behind me and advanced across these fields. Major General George Pickett did the same over here, and that became known as Pickett's Charge. So where I'm walking, looking at the field here, this is where Pickett's Charge was on the third day, and just a different view from the battery that we were just at was over that way. Union forces over that way. I think there's a overlook up here. It'll give us a little bit better view. Okay, where these cannon and caissons are was pretty much where the Battery A of the Federal troops was. This is Seminary Ridge. Seminary Ridge is over there, about 3/4 of a mile away. That's where the Confederates were, and we've been looking at those in the past videos. And this little corpse of trees right here, a Brigadier General Alexander Webb had command of that, the troops there, and when they were reluctant to attack, he got up in front with the colors. And it is over this ground that we looked at the other side. This is where Pickett's Charge came about, and pretty much it looked the way it looks now, with the fences, the road that runs through here. That's Emmitsburg Road, and it was about 3 p.m. on that last day that 5,000 Virginians, commanded by General George Pickett, charged across here. At the same time, other Confederate troops under Pettigrew and Trimble began their attack further in that direction, with 12,000 coming across, a mile long of the troops. And they came across, flags waving, muskets glittering, exploding shells tore holes in them from this position. And despite the survivors, kept charging ahead. There's this stone wall here in front of us that was sheltering Union troops. And when they crossed, when the Confederates came across that road, they opened up on them and decimated them with canister shot and just rifle fire. This is considered the high watermark of the Confederacy, because this is Pickett's Charge was, even by the Union officers, considered to be one of the bravest attacks that troops could do, even though they were slaughtered. And this pretty much, when they retreated back across there, and on the July 3rd, the Union, Meade expected the Confederates to attack again on the 4th, and that did not happen. Lee decided to retreat. He decided that was the losses at that point were just too great. And so that pretty much ends the visit here to Gettysburg. Again, it's not meant to be a comprehensive study of the battle. It's meant to give you sort of an overview and get a idea of the lay of the land. I suggest, really, if it in fact intrigues you at all, read up on it, watch some of the documentaries, and to get more of a feel for what happened here. And with that, I'm going to get on the road, see what else I can find. But after trudging around here, I think I'm going to take a day off and sleep. All right, I'll see you later, YouTube. On January 3rd, 1938, FDR invited all surviving Civil War veterans here. About 2,000 actually showed up, some of them most in the 90s, some over 100, to dedicate this eternal peace memorial. Don't know if you can see, but the flame is still burning up there. There's a famous picture of a couple of veterans, one from the south and one from the north, reaching across the stone wall and shaking hands, saying that there's no difference now, that the Union is united, but they are brothers, having survived the battles.
Off the wagon and he spread out his hands. Brace yourselves and come for your women. We will do what we please. If this is for your blood,